Hello, my Stampin' friends. Brenda Hillard here. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and you can find all of my information at my website up here, createwithbrenda.com. This month, my host code is right at the top of the screen. And if this is your first time joining me, welcome. If you are one of my faithful subscribers, welcome back. This week, I'm kicking off the farewell tour to the World of Good suite, pictured here. And it can be found in the retiring catalog. Just a couple weeks left. The last date to order from the catalog is May 3rd. And this suite can be found on pages 24 through 26. You can order the entire collection using one number. It's 154140. And the price of the entire suite is $104.50. Although you don't want to do that right now, take that back. You want to do probably do them separately because there's a few items in here. One's discounted at 40% off, 60% off, 10%, and 20%. This entire suite of products will be going away except for the faux suede trim that I'll be using on the project today. So check this out. The Beautiful World bundle, I'm going to flip the page. The bundle up here, you can still get bundle pricing. And none of that has been marked down yet. The World of Good specialty paper, this is gorgeous. I'm going to move it around a little bit so you can see that a lot of these pieces have the brass metallic designs. And that, as you can see, was normally $15, is now $9 for the 12 by 12 pack. So there's 12 sheets of paper, double-sided, and it's gorgeous. You'll see once I start using some of the paper for our project. The antique corner slides, they're super fun. So they're antique corners. They look like this. And then there's also the ribbon slides. And I'll be showing you those throughout the week on different projects. What else? The Old World paper embossing folder, which I'm not going to be able to use because I gave that away to one of my fellow one of my downline who had some issues with hers due to a little misuse. But anyway, I gave her that folder, so I do not have it. But I will be doing some dry embossing with the Painted Textures embossing folder, which is very similar but not the same. And then, of course, the brass foil sheets. And I'm going to bring just the corner in because this gets a little crazy with lighting. But you can see that they're very, very shiny. They're the foil sheets, two 12 by 12 sheets. And those are 20% off right now. Regularly $5 for two 12 by 12 sheets, and they are now $4. So hop on to my Shop Now link that I'll post right down below here in the description. Hop on there and check out all of the projects that are, or all of the products that are on sale. So I'm going to go back one page, and I was inspired. My card was actually, the idea for it was inspired by this sample right here in the catalog. And that's another point I wanted to bring up. Don't throw your catalogs away. There's great layouts, there's great color coordination and ideas. And when you're looking through, you can truly be inspired by the different projects posted in there. So let's get started with our project. So today, the main point in showing you this project is, number one, it's a slimline card. Number two, you have to stay till the end because I'm going to give directions on how to make your own envelopes too. So let's get started. I used a piece of our cinnamon cider cardstock. This measures 8.5 by 7 inches, and it's scored at 3.5. So I'm just going to fold that in half, and we'll use our bone folder to give that a really good crease. So there's our card base. Next, I have a piece of early espresso, and this measures 3 3/8 by 8 3/8. I have 2 pieces. One is designer series paper that measures 3 1/4 by 8 1/4, and then you're going to want a piece of basic white also that measures 3 1/4 by 8 1/4. This is the insert for our card. And I did all of the die cutting ahead of time, just to kind of respect your time and keep you tuned in to the end so you can see how to make your own slimline card envelopes. So I stamped using the Misty Moonlight, using the stamp or the sentiment from the stamp set Beautiful World, and that is part of course, the suite. So I stamped Life's a Beautiful Journey, and then I cut it out with the rectangle dies, and it's the second to the smallest rectangle. So using the stitched or the rectangle stitched framelit dies, just with basic white. Next, I die cut from the brass foil sheet the globe, and that's all in this set of dies. These are great, and like I said, I'm really kind of sad that, and I want to make sure that I'm telling you the truth, but I'm pretty sure that this whole set, this whole set is going away. So if you're loving it, these make the best graduation cards, and like people who change jobs and get promoted and that kind of thing. The sentiments in here are beautiful. So Life's a Beautiful Journey. Then I stamped using the cinnamon cider. I stamped the feather from the set and then used the die, the coordinating die, to cut it out. I took a scrap piece of Mossy Meadow and I die cut the globe stand. And then there is a circle die in here so that it coordinates or is the same size as the globe. So I'm able to back it with blue. Okay, so I think that's all of our die cut pieces. So let's start assembling our card. What I want to do first is I'm going to take some Stampin' Seal, and I'm going to add that to my designer series paper, and then I want to just place that so I have that 1/8 inch border. It's just really thin, but it makes it pop on, because we're kind of putting that tone on tone. So it really makes that designer series paper pop. All right, so there's that piece. And before we go any further, I'm going to bring in our antique corners. I want to take 2 of those out of there. Whoops. There we go. And then our liquid glue. And the reason I'm doing this is I found that this is the best way to get these to stick. Mini glue dots work too, or the glue dots work, but this I found works actually better. Now I'm just going to leave those sit there and dry until they get tacky, and then we'll stick them on our card. But in the meantime, we're going to take our globe, and I'm just going to add some liquid adhesive onto the continents because we don't need a lot to hold it in place, but we do need some. And then I'm just going to lay that right on the circle here. Next, I'm going to take our globe stand and my snips, and I just want to cut the stand in half so that we can extend it. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to place the globe on our card, and it's like right about the halfway mark. So I'll just put this on. Like that. And then our globe stand, I'm just going to add a little bit of liquid adhesive right here on the post from the stand and lay that just like that. All right. I'm going to set that aside for a minute. So if you look here, you can see that I die cut the feather, but I also want it to overlap. So is what I did using the cinnamon cider ink and the feather stamp. I'm just going to ink up my stamp, and I want the point on my feather pen to kind of go right beside the T. So I'm going to have something that looks like that. I'll then add some liquid adhesive to the back, and then I'm going to match up my feather. And this just helps to give it that 3D look, okay? So I'll bring in my full-size dimensionals. I'm going to put one on each corner, one in the middle, and that's just going to help hold my feather pen in place. And then I want a couple mini dimensionals just for up here on the feather to keep everything on the same plane on the front of my card. So I'm taking the backings off from my dimensionals, and then I'll bring this in. And before I go any further, I'm glad I saw that. I'm going to bring in our faux suede ribbon, or trim, I guess it is. It's not really ribbon. And I'm just going to snip a piece that I want to just add that as a wrap right at the base of our globe stand. And as all I did was put a little bit of seal on each side and then tack my edges down for the ribbon. All right. And then while this is sticky, I'm going to add some more snail to the top and bottom. I'm going to bring our card base back in, and then we can just lay this down. You know, I should mention too, for like graduations, this is perfect because it's long, it's narrow, so it fits cash and it fits a check without having to fold. And that's usually what our graduates like, is that extra cash for when they go away to college, right? So I'm just going to place my sentiment right here and press that down. And then we'll bring in the base to our globe stand that we snipped before, and I'm just going to add some liquid glue, and that just helps us stretch the stand And if you haven't seen that trick before, it works pretty well for flowers and all kinds of good things. All right, so I'm gonna close my ink. Oh, you know what? I forgot one thing. There's this little scroll piece, and I think I can still do it without messing up my card. We'll try it. I'm just gonna add that right here, like the pen just made like a little scroll. Yeah, it worked. All right. So now let's go back to our antique corners, and they're super sticky now because that glue has dried. And just in each corner, and I'll hold this up so you can see it, I left just a little bit of an edge on each one there. And let's grab our other one. And the liquid adhesive does work super slick for if you let it dry and get tacky, then these stay in place really well. All right, so there is the front of our card. Let's work on the inside. So this is where we bring in that other piece of or the basic white, and this measured 3 1/4 by 8 1/4 also. I have this sentiment that I'm going to stamp in Misty Moonlight, and this comes from the set 2. It says, "Congratulations on this new beginning." And sometimes these little stamp sets can be, or little sentiments can be hard to get on there straight, and especially when I can't lean over the top of it, but we're going to try it. And it's a little crooked, but it's not terrible. I'll go with it. And I'm going to bring in the cinnamon cider. And there's this little tiny ink well, or jar of ink. I'm going to put that right here. We're going to take our feather pen, and we're just going to angle like that, and one more little scroll. How good is that? Even that just on a note card would be good, but like I said, with the slimline card, it makes it a lot easier to put in that cash or check or whatever you're going to do for your graduate gift card or certificate. All right, I'm going to put adhesive top and bottom, and then we're going to put that right on the inside of our card here. Again, just making sure that we're matting with equal borders on the sides and on the top. I know a graduate that would love to get that card, and I bet you do too. So here we are, the excitement, the envelope for our slimline card. So on this one, I chose not to use the reflective paper. I felt like that would be a little bit too painful for video. I'm bringing in my Simply Score tool, and my paper measures 8 1/2 by 11. So that means you can use cardstock, or what else does it mean? You could use just a plain white piece of printer paper, and you will have an envelope for your beautiful slimline cards. All right, so here's the instructions for this. We're going to score at 2 1/2, and remember, when you're scoring on designer series paper, you do not want to press hard because you will rip through it. Then we're going to score at 6 1/2. Now I'm going to turn my paper, and if there's a top and a bottom to your paper, which I think there is on this one, I want the 1 1/2 inch. Let's see. Nope. I'm going to turn it. So if you have a pattern to your paper, you want the top of your pattern up here and the bottom here, okay? Score at 1 1/2, and then score at 10 1/2 so that you have just this little 1/2 inch piece or flap down there at the bottom. I'll put all the directions or the measurements in the description down below so you have it for the envelope. All right, so I'm going to flip this top flap over, take my bone folder and just kind of give everything, you know, all 4 of our score lines here a good crease. Okay, we're getting close, guys, getting close. So, is what we want to do is on this bottom flap, I'm just going to cut a little triangle off to make that flap. It'll make sense in just a second. And then we're going to cut this off. So we have that little mitered corner, okay? We're going to do the same thing over here. Cut it off. And then at the top, only I'm not going to miter these corners. I'll show you what I'm going to do. So I'm going to cut to the score line and then cut this piece off. Same on the other side. Cut to the score line, cut the piece off. All right. So next is what I'm going to do is you'll see that there's one side is longer than the other, which is exactly what you want. Using your tear and tape, and you can do it on either side. And I like tear and tape because it stays nice and even to the edge, so you don't have to worry about like your tape runner or your glue getting out there and getting tacky, sticky, and then it sticks to your card on the inside when it goes through the mail, or just when you insert it and stick it in your purse. So there's that. Then I'm going to put another piece of tear and tape right here at the flap on the bottom, and tear and tape is really strong, so this will stay sealed in the mail. It's not gonna, you're not gonna lose what you had inside. Oops, my nails are so bad. We've been doing a little painting job around here and it's kind of hard on the nails. So then I just fold that flap up. And then we have our handy dandy detailed trio punch, and it's got the corner rounder in it. So I'm going to turn it upside down. I'm going to stick my paper in so that the point is in that little trough. Maybe I should zoom in just a little bit so you can see. I think that helps. And then I'm just going to punch so I get a nice rounded corner. And then I'll put this one in and punch. Nice rounded corner. All right, let's bring our card back in. And then we can just put our card in, and after we have it all filled like we want it, we can put a piece of tear and tape on there. And I can do it now and just leave the backing on it until I'm ready to seal the envelope. So there's today's project, our first day of the farewell tour to the World of Good suite. I hope you love it, everybody. I'll make some simpler projects this week too with not as many die cuts, but I hope you'll give this card a try. I know there's a lot of graduates coming up that would love, love, love to receive this card. Have a great day, and we'll talk soon.